Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll probably never get on board with that. There's just no way you'll convince me the earth is flat. No. Hey, I'll let you go though, because I'm about to get started. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So if you ordered a Milwaukee shirt, you should have received it by now. And I really appreciate you guys' support on that. If you still want to get one, I ordered about 30 extra, because last time we did this, there were some people who missed out on it. And I'll put a link to those at the top of the website. But they're all pretty much XLs, because if nobody buys them, I'm going to use them. So what we're doing today, we're doing a circle accent wall. And I've actually already done a video on this, so I'm not going to redo that whole video. But there are some improvements that we've made. The first thing being the way we put the texture on the wall. We used a roller and just did it out of a 5-gallon bucket. It's actually worked pretty good. I learned that tip from a guy by the name of Peck. He has a Drywall YouTube channel, so I'll link him in the description as well. I learned a ton of stuff from him as far as drywall and texture stuff that I just need to look up real quick and figure something out. But I'll actually just probably start doing it that way. And the next thing we did different on this install than we did on the last one is I invented a tool. Now this is patent pending. This is my circle cutting router jig. There's many of these on the market, but once I get the patent, I'll release it to you guys first. Just kidding, obviously. But this is really cool. I made this yesterday, and I call it the I need to make circles tomorrow jig. Here's what I did. This is just a 1x4. I don't even know how long it is. Just a 1x4, about 44 inches long. And it's a piece of finger joint pine. And I just routed this slot in it right here. And what that does, that holds a carriage bolt. So it has that square bottom there under the washer head of it, and that locks into here, so this won't turn. This is just a threaded knob with an extra long bolt there, so when I thread this in, you can see that bolt sticks out. Now that bolt right there is actually the pivot point for our circle, so we'll drill a hole in the wood, and then the router drops in here, and then we can make our circle. And then if we need to change it, then we obviously can just loosen it up and slide it. Now this is like what is this? It's like a 3/8 slot right here. I opened it up more on the back here. You can see there's like a recess. And that's so I could get this particular knob to sit flush. Because if I didn't do that, all this would be sticking out. And then it would be like the router bit wouldn't be able to dig as much. I'd have to have an extremely long router bit. What you could do with a 1/2-inch collet on your router, but I'm using a trim router, so it's a 1/4-inch collet. So I just recessed that, and it actually makes really nice for this thing to just slide around too. So after I did that, then there's the obvious problem of the handle that you tighten this up with, the knob. That would make the board want to tilt. So I put a spacer here and then a spacer here, so whenever we spin this on the workpiece, it will be leveled. And those spacers are the exact thickness of that knob. And I made this specifically for my Milwaukee router, a trim router. And that is right here. So it has this square cut out here, and this square edge right here, that's where you can attach a fence. So that's how I was able to do this all with this router. And then you'll notice on my drop down mortise here for this router to fit into, it has that square cut out there too. And then the bit, it's lined up perfectly in the middle of this 1x4 with the pivot point. All right, so that is the basic concept of the jig. I've only used this one time, and I used it on a piece of tempered hardboard, which I don't recommend, but this is all I had laying around. So I went ahead and tried it out, and it worked out really good. That's what we're going for. We're going for 4 of these circles. Ours are gonna be much bigger, and this will be the cutout. This stuff is really hard. I mean, it's called tempered hardboard, but it ruined that blade right there, or bit rather. You can see it's all burned up, and I barely got through this. So that's why I bought this morning a bunch of these little bits. I got this Ryobi set for 20 bucks. which is what's in there right now. It works fine. And then I got this Diablo one for 20 bucks. So yeah, this was 20 and then all these were 20. So I just grabbed both of them. We'll start with the we'll start with the Ryobi, because if this works, I'll just return that. And this is just rough, obviously, because my pivot point is not fixed. So now we have our fixed pivot point. This bolt will just drop in there. And we are good to go. This is so much easier than doing it with that jigsaw. That was a nightmare. Yeah, so what I was worried about is, since I had this spacer here, because of the offset with the knob, I wasn't sure if this bit would cut all the way through the MDF. This is 3/4, so yeah, it's gonna work, but I'm gonna raise it up because I don't wanna take all that off in one pass. So we'll go about half. So we have a nice crisp circle there. The only thing I'm gonna change about the next session here is I'm probably just gonna grab my headphones, because that was really loud. So now that I got my hearing protection on, I'm gonna drop this thing down to where it's gonna make this circle fall out. Now, across my two sawhorses here, I have two 2x6s under here. So the circle is not actually gonna fall and then pinch the bit. So those boards are gonna support it. Let me just double check. Yeah, we're good. I may cut into those boards a little bit, but I'm not worried about that. So I'll drop the bit to where it just barely cuts through the MDF to eliminate cutting through that board as much as I can. And that's probably going to be it right there. That's actually bottomed out. So there we go. I love it when a plan comes together, especially an awesome jig like this that's reusable. Perfect circle here. You can see the edges there. They're just absolutely perfect. I think if there was ever a question about the capacity or durability of these little compact routers here, I think this little guy just proved itself. It's hot. It's really hot. That probably has to do with the fact that it's like 95 degrees out here right now also, but it made it through it and it didn't struggle at all. You can see we're right on my line here. This line is just from me following this with my hand. But if we measure that, the router's not gonna lie to us. So we're at our 1.5 inches right there where we wanted to be. We can check it here. We're lined up with our diameter here. We got 1.5 inches. So that's what we're gonna go with. No reason to waste our bit and battery on that piece of scrap. So that was actually quite easy. You saw that I just turned the circle and I didn't even have to move my body at all. I just moved the piece. Pretty cool. So we're gonna go ahead and cut the rest of those halfway through. We'll finish the same cut of the depth. I think you guys get it at this point, and then we'll show you our finished outline circles at the end of this. This piece of, well, this is actually a piece of artwork now. I could probably get this, the Modern Art Museum, to pick this up for $250,000 or something. Just smear some paint on it, be a masterpiece. All right, so there you have it, guys. we got our simple circles done. They got clean edges all around the circumference and all around the inside circumference. So we're good to go on that. And that was all done again with my patent pending jig right here. So this is US patent number, just kidding. This is a 1x4 with holes in it. This is not a real tool, but it's an awesome jig. So if you ever want to make some circles, now you know how. You can figure it out. There's probably many more contraptions, but I really like the way this worked for us today. And yeah, that's it. We got the hard part of this job done. We got to go back inside and skim the wall one more time and sand it down, and then we can get on our installation tomorrow, because we're going to let that second skim coat dry all night. But that's pretty much it. And someone is calling me again. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Parts of it are flat. Like you go to West Texas, they say on a clear day, you can see the back of your own head. But what I'm saying is the whole thing is not flat. It's gotta be a spear, dude. There's no way.